Jewin. Steve, your line is now live.
All right, thank you, John. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And my first question for you is that we already heard from Andrew Capel earlier on the call, and he said, I'll quote him, that he saw things in the fight with Costello Vancinas that he thinks will help because he had the joy of being on the same card with you. So obviously, it's been almost a year since that fight now. So how much can he really gain from that? What do you think?
Hopefully I've cleaned up a lot of stuff that I needed to have better in that fight. But that was a fight that I put a lot on the line, so I understand that mentality. But hopefully we'll see a different fighter out of me on Friday night.
I'm sure we will. And given that he's got a lot of submissions on his record, I asked him if it was going to be a human chess match between the two of you, and he thinks it's going to be more of a stand-up fight. So how do you see the fight going?
He's a guy that obviously he's a good kickboxer, but he wins from everywhere. He's got several wins off his back and some wins from top. So I think he's a guy that's pretty comfortable going everywhere, but I'm pretty comfortable everywhere too. I think I'm gonna be a little better in those positions.
Very good. We've talked before about how you're perennially in title contention. Only guy that really knocked you out of getting a title shot was Rafael Lovato Jr. And then, of course, he vacated the title because of health problems. That was unfortunate, but now with this situation that we're in currently with the pandemic and everything else, where do you stand in line for that always there but never quite there title shot?
I hope I stand at the top of the list now. I know with COVID going on, there's several guys that can't get in and fight. So I hope that puts me, especially with that going on, right at the top.
All right. We look forward to your fight on Friday. John, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question comes from the line of John Eric Poley. John, your line is now live.
Hey man, I wanted to ask you about your gym. You guys have a lot of fighters coming up that have a lot of fights in the next few days. Do you feel that you'll be setting the tone, kind of, that you'll be the first guy from your gym going out there and fighting in this couple-day stretch, busy couple-day stretch that you guys have coming up?
I hope so. I think a win here is going to be huge just to get everybody rolling, and then get 2 more wins in I think 4 days. So that's going to be really big for all of us.
And then one of your teammates, Selecki, actually tested positive for COVID, I believe. So I was wondering what that whole process was like with your gym when you guys found out that he had it and everything that happened there.
Yeah, we had to kind of scatter, work out from home for a little bit. It was 10 days that we had to deal with that. It was just minor setback, caused him not be able to fight in that fight. But everything's been good since, no issues since then. So we've been blessed on the backside of that.
And then just the last thing for me, also along the COVID lines, Bellator now, they're back for a couple of weeks. Just can you talk a little bit about this new process that's been going on and how you think it's been handled?
I think really well. It's obviously everybody's having to make sacrifices to be able to be here, but just happy to be here and be able to fight. I know a lot of people are out of work. A lot of sports aren't happening right now. So the fact that Bellator is going through the whole process to make this happen is great, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question comes from the line of Damon Martin. Damon, your line is now live.
Hey, John, obviously big fight for you this weekend, but there's also a risk here. You're a guy, as we mentioned, probably right there in line for a title shot. Andrew, of course, not as well known, coming off a big win over King Mo, but do you enjoy that pressure? Do you like being the favorite, going into a fight where a lot of people are kind of watching you going into this one?
It doesn't really affect me one way or the other. And yeah, I think obviously I'm the favorite going in, but he's a tough guy. He's got a lot of wins, got a lot of fights. He knows how to win. This is a fight that I've got to treat just like I'm fighting for a title.
You obviously can't control the pandemic. Of course, what happened, we didn't get to see Gegard Mousasi and Douglas Lima fight for the vacant title. But just on a personal level, like, were you upset at all or bummed that fight hasn't happened? Because again, that fight happening kind of affects your future, because a win here, I think most people believe you should get the title shot. But again, you're still dealing with a lot of unknowns because we don't even have a champion right now.
Yeah, I hate that. I wish we could have had that fight, and that way we'd have some answers going forward on what's going to be next. But, it's just the way it happened, and hopefully we can get everything back rolling normal pretty quick.
Is there any part of you that feels like maybe a win this weekend you could jump in? I mean, we're dealing with travel restrictions. We've had to see some fights change. I mean, I don't know if you're up for fighting Gegard or Douglas, but I mean, would you be willing in that situation if one of those guys, I know Douglas obviously lives in the U.S., but I don't know what Gegard's situation is. Like, would you be willing to maybe jump the line and try to get a title shot after this one?
Yeah, I think that'd be perfect. I think it only makes sense. We can't let the title sit vacant forever. So, you know, me and Lima fighting for it, I think makes a lot of sense. I know he wants to stay active too.
And obviously, it all hinges on this weekend. You've been a guy who's gone out and dominated and finished a lot of fights. Outside of that Lovato fight, you've been on such a huge win streak here. Do you feel like, every chance to fight is a chance to make a statement? Do you feel like maybe you need to make a bigger statement here just to kind of solidify your spot as that number one guy?
I mean, obviously, I think every fight, people always remember your last fight. So making a statement's big, but at the end of the day, right now, I just got to go out there and get a win. And hopefully it's done in an exciting way. But, at the end of the day, I just got to come out with a W.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question comes from the line of Jay Anderson. Jay, your line is now live.
Thanks very much. And John, when we spoke to Andrew earlier, he referred to himself as old, said he sees retirement on the horizon, basically. You're the same age. Is that something you've thought of at all? Because obviously you do have the goal of the title still.
Yeah, I want that title. I'm not looking at that. And if I ever say that, my wife's not going to let me. So I plan on fighting for the title and keeping it for a while. So I'm not even thinking about retirement right now.
We've seen a lot of obstacles thrown up this year because of the pandemic, the travel restrictions, the empty arena. In terms of fighting without the fans, how do you see that playing into things?
It's going to be very interesting. I've known a couple people that have fought since then. I think at the end of the day, you kind of put all that out of your head once you get in there anyway. I don't think it'll change much. It might be better for me. I kind of blew my arms out on a choke against Vancinas that wasn't there because when the crowd went crazy, it made me think I've got it, and I squeezed harder than I should have. So hopefully it'll make me not make mistakes like that. But I think other than that, I don't think it's going to be a big difference.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Best of luck on Friday.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question comes from the line of Dimitri Kagan. Dimitri, your line is now live.
Hey, John, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. So it's no secret, where your strengths are in this fight on the ground, and him being a kickboxer. Do you plan on standing with him and then, taking advantage of any tie-ups to take it to the ground, or is your number one goal to get it, in your world, basically?
I think this is going to be a fight where I'm not going to have that option to just put him on his back and go to work. I think I'm going to have to fight in every position on this fight because he's a guy that's good everywhere. So, I got to establish myself on the feet early to get some, really make anything possible after that.
Okay, and having said that, have you worked on striking more in this camp than you normally would for your other fights?
I always kind of work on everything evenly. So I wouldn't say any more, probably work striking a little differently than I have in the past, but not anymore.
How differently, in what way?
A while ago, I threw a lot more drilling in than anything else in striking. And then I went back to doing a lot of pad work. And this camp, I've gone back to doing a lot more drilling. I think it's just more realistic and really work on moving my head and landing my shots and everything like that. So I think that, that's a positive to go that route. And I'm still doing pad work, but just more heavy on the drill side.
Perfect. Thank you. Good luck and have a good one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Our last question comes from the line of Kevin Shajan. Kevin, you are now live.
Hey, John. It's been a while since your last defeat to former champ Rafael Lovato. Since then, you won 2 straight. What's been the key difference, the key change from the last loss to now?
Not fighting Lovato. No, I think I've tried to change a lot since that fight. I had what I thought was 2 good rounds going into the third with him, and I tried to change a little bit of my conditioning. I got a conditioning coach and things. And then my last fight, I faded again late. And I think I found the hole there, what my problem was. So I've tried to clean that up and make sure that's not an issue going forward.
All right. So another question is, if the fight is short, do you look for a quick turnaround, or do you plan on taking some time off, enjoying some time with the family?
I'd be happy with a quick turnaround. I know there's an issue with getting plenty of fighters fights, but there's also the issue of not getting certain people here. So if there's a quick turnaround, I'd be happy with that.
All right, John. Thank you so much. Good luck on Friday.
All right. Thank you.
All right, John, thank you very much for the time. Up next, we have Roy Nelson.